When you're in need of pain relief, come to Need It Relief Massage Therapy. Kat is an experienced licensed massage therapist. Check out her website and book your session online now at massagetherapykm.com. Need It Relief Massage Therapy for some much needed relief.
Hey there, Gulf Coast. Hattiesburg's only comic book and pop culture convention, Southern Geek Fest, is coming May 20th and the 21st to the Forest County Multipurpose Center. 2 days of comic books, cosplay, media guests, authors, vendors, and more. Southern Geek Fest has a huge lineup of guests, including Peyton Witch from Stranger Things and Don Teams from The Walking Dead. For tickets and more information, go to southerngeekfest.com. Southern Geek Fest. We'll see you there.
Resistance is futile.
Boldly going where no show has gone before. This is The Week in Geek with David D. Squared and Brian Held. Heard live on News Talk 99.5 WRNO and the iHeartRadio app. Here are your hosts, Brian Held and D. Squared.
Good evening. This is The Week in Geek, your source for geek and pop culture news that's trending now. This is your host, D Squared, with
Brian Held.
Brian Held, how the hell are you, buddy?
I am fantastic now that everything's working in the
I
studio.
know. It's a Christmas miracle or an Easter miracle, whichever it is, man.
Yeah.
All right, Brian. So you know what? I guess, let's lay out the show real quick. What do we have going on today?
So we have Top Nerd News. We're going to cover everything that's been hot. And let me tell you what, there's a lot of hot stuff that's been out this past week. Then in our second segment, we're going to have our boy Skungy come on. He's going to give us a little video game overview. Then we have a guest coming on in our third segment.
What?
Yes, Mr. Brendan Lasalle. He's with Goodman Games, and he's going to be talking about some of the stuff that he's working on.
A movie.
Yes. And then to top it all off, we're going to close out the show as we always do with This Week in Geek History.
Well, that's true, Brian.
Yes.
So, all right, without much further news, let's get together and do our Top Nerd News.
And now, your top nerd news stories from around the world. Brought to you by Kasha's Bazaar. Find them at 5727 Jefferson Highway. And now, our top nerd news stories.
All right, Brian. Well, Star Wars Celebration is going on right now in Orlando, or it's just wrapping up.
It is, and unless you were under a rock or just like not checking Facebook all weekend and long, I mean, there's been so much news coming out of Celebration Orlando. It's insane.
Well, how much of it is for mass consumption, though? I mean, you and I, we want to hear every single tidbit that comes out of Orlando. But what is the stuff that most people care about?
Well, obviously, I think the biggest one is the trailer for Episode 8 has dropped on Friday. And what do you think, Dave?
I was a little underwhelmed. And when I was watching it, I couldn't help but get that song stuck in my head from Karate Kid. You're the best around. Gonna do a lightsaber montage. You're the best around. That's what it looked like.
Yeah.
And she's using her force powers to lift little rocks and stuff like that. And I feel a kinship towards Luke Skywalker, though, because he's like very jaded.
Yeah.
And I feel a deep connection to someone who's jaded,
right.
Because well, I'm jaded.
Right. No, and I, to a degree, I agree with you. Granted, they don't want to make any big reveals at this point,
well,
right?
No, they don't. I mean,
right.
And I think it's a bit of a jerkish move to kind of let's give people a listen of how what Luke Skywalker said towards the end of it.
I only know one truth. It's time for the Jedi to end.
What the hell does that mean?
Well, so there's a lot of speculation about that. I mean,
time for the Jedi to end? What?
Well, okay, so look, I mean, in the Star Wars canon, in the history, right, it's all about they prophesied Anakin was there to bring balance to the Force.
Little Annie?
Yeah, well, and of course he goes to the dark side, and so...
You were the chosen one!
So maybe... now we don't have any more Sith, or at least
that
we know of. And so Luke's the last Jedi, so maybe he wants to just abolish it all and kind of start over.
I'm wondering how much of this is just Luke's baggage that he's throwing at Rey's feet. I mean, just because, your star pupil decided to kill all your students and burn down your school.
She went looking for him, right?
She did.
He was like, I'm going to be a hermit over here and not mess with anybody. And so, I don't know. We'll see. Look, December, right?
Yeah. It's not that far away. Now, what was the deal with those little starships, but on the ground. They were kicking up red dirt. What the hell was that about?
I'm
It's
sure.
like they were dragging the ground.
Yeah,
dredging, for crawfish. What? What are they doing?
I don't know, Dave.
Now who's flying the Millennium Falcon?
Well,
is that Ray? I mean, she got dumped off there at the crazy hermit island.
She probably is, and we know that Jonas Suotamo, the new Chewbacca.
Oh,
he's
yeah.
in it. Yeah, and so I'm sure Chewie is going to be back, and he's going to be.
Well, yeah, I would think so.
Right, and not Poe Dameron, but Finn.
Yeah,
right?
Finn. Yeah,
Finn is.
Was he in stasis? What the hell was that?
It's so many questions.
With the little thing over his head, kind of looked like one of those cheesy things from the '80s, where you put your hand on the little magic ball and the little lightning bolts come and touch your fingertips. That's what it looked like.
Right.
So Star Wars has more money than that. They need to spend better money on that special effects they had over his head.
Well, speaking of trailers, they also dropped the trailer for season 4 of Rebels.
Right, and what they also dropped the news that this is it. This is last season.
Yeah, but I mean it makes sense, right? Because Rebels takes place prior to A New Hope, so it has to have kind of an ending.
Let me blow your mind real quick.
All right.
I think that they're doing it for a positive reason.
What's that?
I think that a lot of the characters that are in Rebels, they want to use them. And I think they want to use them in a lot of these spin-off movies that are coming up.
Right.
And especially with they're talking about the Han Solo movies that are coming out, a bunch of these other ones. They want to use these characters, and they can't continue to have them continuing their adventures on the cartoon series if they want to use them on the big screen. I mean, they've already, mentioned them and shown their ships in The Force Awakens and in Rogue One. So a lot of these characters, I think they want to use them because they've laid down so much groundwork that these characters are something that people really want to see more of, especially Thrawn, and Ahsoka Tano. We can get to that in a second too. But the entire crew, Kanan and what's his name?
Ezra.
There you go. I think they want to do more stuff with that, and to really use that, they're going to have to stop the cartoon so that people are going to be wanting more, and then it's like, hey, if you love them in Rebels, you'll love them in Lando's Casino of Doom. I don't know what the hell they're going to do.
Right.
There's no telling.
Well, but that also begs the question. They've done so successfully with the cartoon series. I mean, Clone Wars was fantastic. Yeah. Rebels fantastic. What's next, right? Are they going to have another cartoon series come out?
Yeah. Well, they're going to have to make it further down the line, though.
Right.
Because I mean, we're going to get swamped with Star Wars stuff, dude.
We absolutely. We're going to have more Star Wars apples.
Don't we have more Star Wars crap right now?
We do.
Jesus.
So Rosario Dawson is speculated to play Ahsoka Tano in the films. I mean,
she's old now, though.
Well, she's 37. She's not.
That's old. That's old in Star Wars years.
It is, but so we can play pros and cons, right? I mean, in the storyline, Ahsoka Tano would be older than we saw her in Clone Wars, right? But I just for some reason it doesn't feel right to me.
I don't know. She's got the acting chops.
She absolutely has.
She can definitely do it.
But I mean, what do you think about like Chloe Bennett from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Daisy?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, she's done more
I would err
stuff.
on the side of Rosario Dawson on that choice.
Really?
Yes.
There's the Jija Yanin. She was in a ton of martial arts flicks. Let me see if
we're going to need somebody who can actually like wield a saber.
Well, that's what I'm kind of thinking, right? I mean, I really liked this young lady. She was in the Monkey King with Jackie Chan and Jet Li.
If she's with them, then yeah, she could probably do it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I don't even know who you're talking about, but that sounds fun.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, I liked her in the different things. I mean, she's in a ton of stuff. But regardless, I'm not feeling it with Rosario.
Well, at least she's not a ginger. What about these crazy redheads, man? Doctor Who, Peter Capaldi just wrapped up his final season, and
he wrapped filming it.
He wrapped filming it. So the season is currently. You went to the debut yesterday, didn't you?
Last night I was at the Crown and Anchor in Algiers Point watching it with all the Crew to Who folks, and I loved it, man. It was just
it's like Cats. I want to see it again.
Exactly, knocked it right out of the park on the season opener, and I did see it again. I saw it this morning with my wife at the house, and it was a great episode. And I'm actually sad that Peter Capaldi's announced he's leaving the role, and there's going to be a new showrunner. Moffat's out.
Yeah.
And I'm sad because it was such a great episode. There was such good writing and dialogue, and why did we need to get that now, right? Why didn't we get
because he knew he had nothing to lose, so now he was just like, I'm just going to write a good story now. Leave it on a high note.
Well, I suppose, but
so who picked the redheaded new doctor?
I don't know.
It wasn't Cartman.
Ginger kids are born with a disease which causes very light skin, red hair, and freckles. This disease is called gingivitis.
Does
it
he?
occurs because ginger kids have no soul.
See? I'm just saying. All right, what is the guy's name? Does he have a soul?
His name is Chris Marshall. And,
sounds like a guy with no soul.
Well, he played Nick Harper in My Family and Colin Frizzell in Love Actually. But, I haven't really seen this guy. I went and watched some videos of him,
right.
And I don't even recognize him. I don't,
Is he cute? I hate to say it like that, but will the girls dig him?
I don't know.
He's a ginger. I don't know.
I don't know what the ladies dig.
I don't know. I don't know if chicks are digging dudes with freckles. I don't know. They like big bushy beards like the hipsters.
He looked a little scraggly when I saw him in the most recent video.
I don't know. Maybe chicks might dig that. Yeah, I don't know what chicks dig because they ain't talking to me.
Right. So, I'm not sure, Dave. It's, but we can talk about other stuff that's coming out.
What's that?
Did you see the Thor Ragnarok trailer that dropped?
Oh, my God, did I see it? Yes. Here, take a listen.
It's main event time. I give you your incredible...
This is great.
We know each other. He's a friend from work.
He's a friend from work.
Let me look.
That is, I love that. The Zeppelin in the back. Hammer of the gods.
Anytime I see a new Marvel trailer, I can just see him cranking up the printing presses for new money. Just rolling in.
God. Well,
it's fantastic. They hit all of the key points that you want in a movie. Just good narrative, great visuals, awesome soundtrack.
Oh, my God. Why don't you just marry Marvel?
Well,
I'm going to call your dear and lovely wife and say the divorce papers are in the mail. If you could marry Marvel, you would.
Do we need to move on?
Yes. Before you hump the trailer's leg.
Well, while we're on Marvel, Josh Brolin as Cable for Deadpool 2.
He is an amazing actor. No Country for Old Men.
Yeah.
Geez, that was an amazing friggin' flick.
Jonah Hex didn't do good. I actually liked it.
Yeah, it was kind of meh. I liked the era because I'm a big Civil War buff.
Right.
And I liked the idea. It just wasn't executed very fairly.
That's a DC film I just said I liked. I just want to point that out to you.
Oh, so. Yeah. Wow.
Right, I know.
Good on you.
I think he can portray that grumpy old man pretty well.
Yeah, we have yet to really truly see him as Thanos. Just, at the end of something, just at the end of of a movie.
Right.
So, I don't know what he's going to be like. All we have to do is just from Jonah Hex. I don't know what his comedic chops are.
Yeah.
Because you have to be pretty damn funny if you're going to hold the stage with Deadpool.
Right.
So, I don't know, man. All right, well, you ready to take a break? You seem to not be paying attention to me, looking at your damn phone.
Well, my dear lovely wife was just calling me for some odd reason.
Probably she doesn't know you're on the air. Nobody knows we're on the air, Brian.
Oh, come on now,
all right,
Dave.
guys, you are listening to The Week in Geek. This is News Talk 99.5 WRNO, your new home for Walton and Johnson. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Jezebel Johnston, Devil's Handmaid by Nancy Hansen, is now an audiobook read for you by Brian Held. It's a tale of a young girl from Tortuga who disguises herself as a boy and bluffs her way onto a pirate ship, chasing after her one true love, only to find adventure on the high seas. Jezebel Johnston, Devil's Handmaid is available on Amazon, Audible, and iTunes. Get your copy of Jezebel Johnston today.
Tubby & Coos, Mid-City Bookshop at 631 North Carrollton, just off Orleans in Carrollton. Books, board games, and geeky t-shirts. Find them on the web at tubbyandcoos.com and sign up for their geekly newsletter. Tubby and Coos, more than books.
Friends, is your morning tea just not your cup of tea? Then try the tea blends of Viridian Tea Company. At Viridian Tea Company, they sell blends guaranteed to make you think outside the box. With such blends as My Enemy's Tears, Goth Librarian, Cyberpunk, and many more, your tea experience will be out of this world. Look for the blends at Tubby and Coos Mid-City Bookshop, located at 631 North Carrollton, or on Etsy at Viridian Tea Company. Try Viridian Tea Company today. Your taste buds will thank you.
In a New Orleans that never was and never will be, airships float high above the city while platoons of clockwork automatons patrol the streets below. In Storyville, pirates, streetwalkers, gamblers, and thieves prowl back alleys in search of their next mark. New Orleans by Gaslight, the premier anthology of locally written and locally produced steampunk poetry and fiction, all set in Victorian New Orleans. Buy it now, available in both paperback and Kindle versions at Amazon.com. New Orleans by Gaslight.
Kasha's Bazaar has an unconventional inventory for the discerning geek collector. Comic book related collectibles, vintage New Orleans items, militaria, and plenty for your mundane friends. Kasha's Bazaar, 5727 Jefferson Highway, the Unflea Market.
You've waited for it, and now it's here. Get your very own Week in Geek Radio Show t-shirt and help support our show. These 100% cotton black t-shirts with the Week in Geek Radio Show logo are going fast. So don't wait. Go to twigradio.com and order your shirt now. Just go to twigradio.com/shop and get your very own Week in Geek Radio Show t-shirt. $15 up to XL, $17 for 2X and 3X. That's twigradio.com/shop.
Hey there, Gulf Coast. Hattiesburg's only comic book and pop culture convention, Southern Geek Fest, is coming May 20th and 21st to the Forest County Multipurpose Center. 2 days of comic books, cosplay, media guests, authors, vendors, and more. Southern Geek Fest is a huge lineup of guests, including Peyton Witch from Stranger Things and Don Teams from The Walking Dead. For tickets and more information, go to southerngeekfest.com. Southern Geek Fest. We'll see you there.
This is the Week in Geek with D Squared and Brian Held.
Outstanding.
Miss any of today's show? Download the Geek podcast at WRNO.com. Here are your hosts, D Squared and Brian Held.
Welcome back, New Orleans. You're listening to The Week in Geek on News Talk 99.5 WRNO. This is Brian Held with
D Squared.
Hey, man.
Hey, man.
So, my wife is totally up for Chris Marshall as the doctor.
She had to call you during the show to let you know that?
Well, yeah, she was very excited.
That's why we don't give out the call-in number, because people love to call us. They do.
All right. Are we ready to talk to our boy Skungy?
Absolutely.
And now, your top nerd news stories from around the world. Brought to you by Kasha's
That's
Bazaar.
top nerd news.
Find them at 5727
Whoopsie.
Jefferson Highway.
Oh, well,
And
who
now,
cares?
Our top nerd news stories.
I knew Skungy's voice was on there. Skungy, what's shaking, bacon?
How are you doing, gentlemen?
We're still getting used to the new digs, man.
It's cool. It's cool. Growing pains.
Yeah. All right, so what are we talking about today, man?
Well, we got a couple of things. First, we're going to talk about Lego City Undercover.
What is that?
Well, Lego City Undercover is a game that actually came out back in 2013 for the Wii U and the 3DS.
Wow.
Well, now it's being released on the Nintendo Switch, the Xbox One, and the PS4.
Okay.
Was it that great on the Wii?
Believe it or not, yeah, it was. It's actually one of the best Lego games made. And the reason why is because it's Lego's own property. Now, everything that Lego's basically done in the past has been licensed off of some pre-existing IP. Lord of the Rings, Marvel, DC, Batman, all these other different, properties. Well, this is their own thing. So they didn't have to worry about staying true to characters or anything like that. So they came up with everything themselves.
Okay, that sounds good so far. I mean, what's the narrative? What's the story?
Well, you're playing a police officer called Chase McCain, and you're going back to the city, and you're trying to find this villain, basically. Well, where most of the other Lego games, you collect characters. Well, since there are no other characters, you get your special abilities through disguises. So you disguise yourself as a thief so no one can seize you, or a construction worker so you can build stuff, just to name a few.
Okay.
The narrative, though, is what's really great in this because it's so much fun. They played around and put so many different movie references and pop culture references throughout the entire game that it's fun to play. Now, I've always said that if you play a Lego game and you don't smile, you officially don't have a soul.
Well,
so
I don't have a soul.
Yeah,
you smile playing a Lego game. I've seen you do it.
Here's the thing, though. I have seen the stupid Lego Undercover cartoon where they didn't even talk. All they did was grunt and make little weird animal sounds. Because back then, when that first cartoon came out, Lego people weren't talking. Even Batman and Robin were just grunting. So
it used to be pantomime and everything, but it's fully voiced. It's fully voice cast.
Do you know any of the voice cast?
What?
Do you know any of the voice cast?
Does anybody?
No, I don't know any of the. It's nobody really like
John Smith as Clutch Masterson.
Yeah, I didn't look that far into it to see like who was actually playing the characters, but it is a voice cast.
All right, well,
and, like some of the stuff is really just funny, like laugh out loud funny.
All right, well, price and platform.
Well, it's going to be $59.99 for it on the Switch, the Xbox One, and the PS4.
Okay.
Cool. All right.
So bigger news, Skungy.
Bigger news
yes.
was announced with, well, of course, you were just talking about in the last segment about Star Wars Celebration. Well, just came out, announced the other day, Star Wars Battlefront 2.
Now you have my attention. All right. So, yeah, come on. What?
Let's get this out of the way. Battlefront 1 had a lot of problems.
Yes. Like
a lot of problems.
No
Not
plot.
Enough content, no plot. Well, they said in their release that they listened to the fans and they've added more. So what did they add? They've added a campaign mode to it. Now, this campaign is going to bridge the span of the 30 years in between Jedi and Force Returns.
Really?
I mean, The Force Awakens.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's gonna bridge that time where you're playing. Actually, it looks like you're playing an Imperial special trooper who's on Endor when the Death Star blows up, and their team are like, "What do we do now?"
Yeah, I put that trailer on my Facebook page because the trailer looks epic. I mean, I watched the entire 2.5 minutes with my jaw open because it looks fantastic.
But there are a lot of people who feel like they got burned because the first Star Wars Battlefront trailer looked just as good.
And in the comments section, everybody was PO'd because Battlefront did not have any sort of campaign, any sort of mode that was like the original Battlefronts. I mean, the biggest gripe was, how dare you call it Battlefront? So now they're going to do that with this. Now, Skungy, here's the question for you. Because people were so PO'd about this, is this going to really negatively impact the pre-orders, the pre-sales?
Pre-order as a business has been at a decline the last couple of years because people have, they're jaded, they're gun shy.
Well, I'm tired of buying a game that's not even friggin' finished yet.
Exactly.
Can I pre-order a game that's finished?
So that's actually something that's causing a lot of controversy with this game as well. One of the developers or spokesmen came out and basically, in not so many words, said that there isn't going to be a season pass for this game.
Interesting.
Why not? Wait.
Well, the thing is that it's made by EA, and Titanfall was a game that came out not too long ago, Titanfall 2, and it didn't have a season pass. All of its content was free. All the post-release content was free. So they're like, people are speculating, well, is it going to be free? Is it not going to be free? Well, not too long after they released that, they kind of backpedaled a little bit.
Damn it!
So now we're not sure if how they're going to do the content. All we do know for certain is that they're addressing that they knew that the first game's content, add-on content, was lackluster, not enough to it, very limited. So they're trying to make sure that they keep everybody happy this time, and that's the main thing of all their press releases and everything is they have the fans in mind, and they're taking all the comments that they've heard to heart.
Well, that would be quite the olive branch if they did have free DLC.
That would be worth it.
Yeah.
It would be. We have to wait and see. Like I said, they came out and basically said it, then they kind of backpedaled a little bit, so we're not sure.
I haven't bought a single extra DLC for Battlefront. I mean, I bought the game, and then that was it. I was so just, like, unimpressed by it. I mean, yeah, it's fun running around as a stormtrooper, shooting people. Yay! But, I mean, there's 8 million games like that.
Right.
Well, they have one thing that's added to this one also that's got a lot of people excited. They added local co-op.
Like couch co-op?
Like couch co-op.
Oh, see, now that's cool.
But wait.
But wait, there's more.
I'm sorry, Brian.
What's that?
That is a console exclusive.
Is it?
Because nobody wants to sit next to a dirty PC player.
Well, so, I mean, what is couch co-op?
Oh, that means like DJ and I can, like, I'm playing couch co-op right now on Diablo 3.
All right.
DJ and I can both sit on the couch and fire up our controllers and play on the same screen and play together.
Oh,
you don't have to play online
multiplayer?
Multiplayer, but in the same room, not like people you want to be next to, not some weirdo like who probably wears women's underwear in Akron, Ohio.
I can host games like that, private game sessions on most all of
the
games.
Well, you're creepy and nobody wants to go to your house. Skungy's like, exactly.
Doesn't matter. Hey, real quick, Adam Buxton is one of the top billed voice talent on Lego Undercover. He played Tim Messenger in Hot Fuzz.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. So, but all right. Well, price and platforms on Star Wars Battlefront. Do you have that yet?
Star Wars Battlefront's not going to be coming out till November. And once again, it seems to be that EA is doing this with every single one of its games, which I'm not necessarily happy about. They're doing another deluxe edition, kind of like they did with Battlefield 1, where it's an early access, where if you get the deluxe edition, you'll get it like 3 days early.
Okay.
It comes out on the 14th if you get the deluxe edition. If you get the standard edition, it comes out on the 17th. You get extra multiplayer stuff. So unless you're really worried about multiplayer online, if you just want it for your story, I wouldn't get the deluxe edition. It's not worth the $20. But if you're heavy in the multiplayer, then yeah, go ahead and order that.
Yeah.
But I mean, like I said, and you probably want to pre-order it anyway with one of your retailers, because you do get Kylo Ren and Rey for pre-ordering it to play, because they brought back, they're bringing them, and then also they're putting the prequels. The good part about the prequel, Darth Maul.
Yeah.
What about the droideka?
They're going to have droidecars in it, from what I understand.
Miso want the Jar Jar.
So, no, nobody wants Jar Jar. And guys, if you want to pre-order that, Skungy would be happy to do that at his GameStop on Veterans out in Canada, right by Home Depot. So go stop by and see him.
Shameless promotions.
Oh, of course.
I have never promoted my store. That is the first time.
Yeah, I did that.
Ever been promoted.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's because we're on a big boy station now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Skungy, guess what?
I know this one.
Yeah,
I know
you're
this
fired.
One.
Get off the show.
Jerry Lee Lewis?
Thank you.
Thank
you, Skungy.
Bye. I couldn't take him anymore.
No,
Brian.
it's fine. Guys, we have our guest on the line. He's ready to go here shortly after these short commercial messages. Stay tuned. You're listening to The Week in Geek on News Talk 99.5 WRNO.
You've waited for it, and now it's here. Get your very own Week in Geek Radio Show t-shirt and help support our show. These 100% cotton black t-shirts with the Week in Geek Radio Show logo are going fast. So don't wait. Go to twigradio.com and order your shirt now. Just go to twigradio.com/shop and get your very own Week in Geek Radio Show t-shirt. $15 up to XL, $17 for 2X and 3X. That's twigradio.com/shop.
Friends, is your morning tea just not your cup of tea? Then try the tea blends of Viridian Tea Company. At Viridian Tea Company, they sell blends guaranteed to make you think outside the box. With such blends as My Enemy's Tears, Goth Librarian, Cyberpunk, and many more, your tea experience will be out of this world. Look for the blends at Tubby & Coo's Mid-City Bookshop, located at 631 North Carrollton, or on Etsy at Viridian Tea Company. Try Viridian Tea Company today. Your taste buds will thank you.
Tubby & Coo's Mid-City Bookshop at 631 North Carrollton, just off Orleans in Carrollton. Books, board games, and geeky t-shirts. Find them on the web at tubbyandcoos.com and sign up for their geekly newsletter. Tubby & Coo's, more than books.
Jezebel Johnston
Devil's Handmaid by Nancy Hansen is now an audiobook read for you by Brian Held. It's a tale of a young girl from Tortuga who disguises herself as a boy and bluffs her way onto a pirate ship, chasing after her one true love, only to find adventure on the high seas. Jezebel Johnston, Devil's Handmaid is available on Amazon, Audible, and iTunes. Get your copy of Jezebel Johnston today.
Hey there, Gulf Coast. Hattiesburg's only comic book and pop culture convention, Southern Geek Fest, is coming May 20th and the 21st to the Forest County Multipurpose Center. 2 days of comic books, cosplay, media guests, authors, vendors, and more. Southern Geek Fest has a huge lineup of guests, including Peyton Witch from Stranger Things and Don Teams from The Walking Dead. For tickets and more information, go to southerngeekfest.com. Southern Geek Fest. We'll see you there.
When you're in need of pain relief, come to Need It Relief Massage Therapy. Kat is an experienced licensed massage therapist. Check out her website and book your session online now at massagetherapykm.com. Need It Relief Massage Therapy for some much needed relief.
Now, back to the Week in Geek with local celebrity Brian Held, hashtag LCBH. Here are your hosts, local celebrity Brian Held, and that other guy, what's his name again?
Welcome back, New Orleans. You're listening to The Week in Geek on News Talk 99.5 WRNO. This is Brian Held with...
that other guy.
Yes,
I hate the voice guy.
I love the voice guy.
Of course you do.
So, hey, we have a great guest on the line.
We do?
Yes, Mr. Brendan Lasalle from Goodman Games. Brendan, you there?
Yes, sir. How are you doing?
We're fantastic, man. How are you?
Fantastic. Thanks so much for having me on your show.
So Brendan, look, you go way back. You were on one of my very first shows back in May, the first show. Mm-hmm. Man, so... yeah, I know, man.
It's a huge honor.
Well, thank you, man. So, hey, look, dude, so you are the creator of a great game called Xcrawl. And since we last spoke, you're now working with Goodman Games. You're doing a whole lot more with them. You're living the nerd dream, going to conventions and running games. And you're working on a movie. You're working on you just did a venture called Louisiana Rising that's actually helping Baton Rouge flood victims. So, man, where the hell do you want to start?
Well, let's start with that. So, George Loki Williams and myself wrote the adventure. It's called Xcrawl, Louisiana Rising, and every dollar of it went to raise money for local charities that will support victims of, the terrible storms that you guys had. And it's done pretty well. It's been pretty popular, and I'm really proud of it. So,
well, first off, how do we get a hold of that?
You can get that from rpgnow.com or drivethrurpg.net. It's available as a PDF, and 100% of the profits go to 100% of the money. No, there are no profits. 100% of the of your dollars will go to Zeus's Rescues and the I forget the food bank.
Like Second Harvesters.
Second Harvest, yeah, Second Harvest food bank.
So now, what game is this playable for? Which game? System.
Sure, it's an Xcrawl scenario written for the Dungeon Crawl Classic system.
Okay.
There is going to be a full version of Dungeon Crawl Classic Xcrawl. We're calling it Xcrawl Classics. That should be out next year. But for now, you can play this adventure with the existing Dungeon Crawl Classics rule set.
Wait a minute. All right. Now stop the presses. So let's lay a little bit of history down about Xcrawl. When I first stumbled across it, I don't even know how many years ago now. It was with the D20 system. So what?
Yes.
So go through all the iterations and tell me where we are now.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's been a real journey. In the earliest incarnation, Xcrawl was written for the 3.0, the Dungeons and Dragons 3rd edition rules. Halfway through me writing the Emperor's Cup, they announced the 3.5 rules, and I got an early copy of that, and that's the first 3.5 adventure. Then a few years ago, Goodman Games put out with the Pathfinder version of Xcrawl Maximum Xcrawl.
Yeah.
Really proud of that, but times are what they are, and now that's out there, and you can play that with existing adventures, or coming up, there will be a Dungeon Crawl Classics adventure, a Dungeon Crawl Classics version, and there are a few DCC adventures out now D2C Xcrawl adventures out now, including Louisiana Rising and the last year's Boston Crawl.
Damn, man.
And Xcrawl, if I'm not mistaken, turns D&D on its head. It's basically dungeon crawling
pay-per-view
meets Running Man or something like that, right?
Yep. It is professional dungeon crawlers going through artificial dungeons, full lethal, live on pay-per-view. It's a televised death sport, the sport of the future, and you pit wizards and fighters and rogues against traps and hazards and monsters of all sorts.
And then people like sponsors sponsor the adventurers, like like Nike and Gatorade or Haterade,
like NASCAR. It is it's my sort of like projection of what it would be like if our world, familiar world of Dungeons and Dragons and all of those tropes grew up and became our modern media saturated world. What effect would the presence of magic and other sentience be on the government, for example, and on popular culture and on entertainment? And I think that unfortunately, magic would be a very good tool of oppression, and Xcrawl would be the way to keep you distracted from that fact.
Nice.
Bread and circuses, man.
Yeah.
So, I mean, do they have like reality? 100%. Do they have like reality TV shows like Jersey Shore? We put a drow and a halfling and a dwarf together. Let's see what happens.
So,
absolutely.
Brendan, you mentioned Goodman Games, and I know that right now Goodman Games has a Kickstarter that's taking place. You want to tell us about that?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. That is for for Lankmar, the Dungeon Crawl Classics Lankmar adventures, which are going to be absolutely fantastic. I've actually been privy to some of the early stuff for it. It looks amazing. Michael Curtis is working on that now, and the Kickstarter funded like almost immediately. It's up over $100,000 now, and they're working on stretch goals. There's one amazing stretch goal that we're working towards, which is if we get to X amount, apparently in the archives that they have at I forget which university, there are like boxes and boxes of his unpublished manuscripts for Lankmar and other things. So if we get enough of a response, we're going to send Michael Curtis out there to go ahead and investigate those and see if there's anything that we can use and convert for the role-playing game. So it's very exciting for fans, people who are fans of role-playing games, and of course of Lankmar should definitely check that out.
Wow, no, that's super cool. And that Kickstarter's running for another couple weeks at least?
I think like 7. I think we're down to like maybe a week and a half, 10 days.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's just we're down to days, sir. So
all right,
go ahead and jump on that and check it out.
Now the next thing I got to ask is about this movie, the Xcrawl movie. What's going on? I want to be in a movie.
All right, so the amazing Paul Suda, who you might remember the fan film Tower of Joy. Paul Suda produced, wrote, and adapted that last year. He crowdfunded it, put out. It was extremely successful. It's beautiful to look at. It really is an amazing piece of work. He and I actually met at a gaming weekend in Colorado. And he's besides being a great actor and a absolutely energetic producer, he's also amazing, like one of the best dungeon masters I've ever played with. We got to talking gaming, we got to talking Xcrawl. He played with me, and now we are together working on a script for an Xcrawl movie. And here in a few months, we are going to do a crowdfunding campaign to allow us to create a sizzle reel for an Xcrawl movie, and hopefully that'll be hopefully you guys will have me back on to announce when that comes up, because I'd love to get the word out for that.
We are absolutely going to have you back on, because Brendan, clearly for a project like this, you're going to need a pair of announcers to talk about what's happening in the deal, and Dave and I just happen to be available for that.
We're always
here's what I need. The two announcers I have in mind. One's going to have a great voice, and the other's going to have to be just really good looking. So y'all are going to have to
I got good looking. Well, we're visiting with Brendan Lasalle, who is going to cast us as the announcers in the Xcrawl movie. But so Brendan, now how do we get in touch with you, and how do people find more about Xcrawl, and namely, how the hell do we buy these amazing games?
Okay, absolutely. Well, you can anything Xcrawl or DCC Xcrawl or my Dungeons and Crawl, my Dungeon Crawl Classics adventures, any of those can be purchased from the Goodman Games website, goodman-games.com. Also, the charity adventure as PDF, Louisiana Rising, that's available from RPG Now and Drive Through RPG. And you can always find me on Twitter. I'm at Brendan J. Lasalle. So come find me and follow me. I tweet about once a week because I wait until I have something really interesting to say.
No,
but
that's
I'm on
fair.
there.
Save it all up.
Tweet to me, I will get back to you eventually. So I'm just not that interesting, guys. My wife might be, but me personally,
No, so Brendan, I gotta ask. The last time that Dave and I saw you, you were at CoastCon out in Biloxi. Are you going to be down this way anytime soon?
You know what? We are going to try to hit. Okay, it's not concrete yet. Right now, we're going to try to hit. It's Pentacon.
Yeah.
In Pensacola. We're going to try to hit that next year. That's not too far out. At least it's still in the general vicinity. And once again, for 2018, trying to hit Mobicon.
Okay.
So, I'll let you know. I'm pitching that now. Not gonna. So hopefully I'll see you guys there, and we'll get into some more Xcrawl mayhem.
All right.
Absolutely. All right. Well, Brendan Lasalle, creator of Xcrawl, I just want to say thank you for coming on the show, man. And we look forward to being in your movie.
Yes, sir. Okay. Stay handsome, otherwise I can't use you.
Thanks, Brendan.
All right, Brendan. Take care, buddy.
You too. Be well.
Guys, stay tuned. When we get back, we're going to close out the show as we always do with This Week in Geek History. You're listening to The Week in Geek on News Talk 99.5 WRNO, the home of Walton and Johnson. Hey there, Gulf Coast. Hattiesburg's only comic book and pop culture convention, Southern Geek Fest, is coming May 20th and 21st to the Forest County Multipurpose Center. 2 days of comic books, cosplay, media guests, authors, vendors, and more. Southern Geek Fest is a huge lineup of guests, including Peyton Witch from Stranger Things and Don Teams from The Walking Dead. For tickets and more information, go to southerngeekfest.com. Southern Geek Fest. We'll see you there.
Tubby and Coos, Mid-City Bookshop at 631 North Carrollton, just off Orleans and Carrollton. Books, board games, and geeky t-shirts. Find them on the web at tubbyandcoos.com and sign up for their geekly newsletter. Tubby and Coos, more than books.
Kasha's Bazaar, located at 5727 Jesson Highway across from Red, White, and Blue. Geeky collectibles and more. Find them on Facebook at facebook.com/Kasha's Bazaar. Kasha's Bazaar, 5727 Jesson Highway, the unflea market.
In a New Orleans that never was and never will be, airships float high above the city while platoons of clockwork automatons patrol the streets below. In Storyville, pirates, streetwalkers, gamblers, and thieves prowl back alleys in search of their next mark. New Orleans by Gaslight, the premier anthology of locally written and locally produced steampunk poetry and fiction, all set in Victorian New Orleans. Buy it now, available in both paperback and Kindle versions at Amazon.com. New Orleans by Gaslight.
Friends, is your morning tea just not your cup of tea? Then try the tea blends of Viridian Tea Company. At Viridian Tea Company, they sell blends guaranteed to make you think outside the box. With such blends as My Enemy's Tears, Goth Librarian, Cyberpunk, and many more, your tea experience will be out of this world. Look for the blends at Tubby and Coos Mid-City Bookshop, located at 631 North Carrollton, or on Etsy at Viridian Tea Company. Try Viridian Tea Company today. Your taste buds will thank you.
You've waited for it, and now it's here. Get your very own Week in Geek Radio Show t-shirt and help support our show. These 100% cotton black t-shirts with the Week in Geek Radio Show logo are going fast. So don't wait. Go to twigradio.com and order your shirt now. Just go to twigradio.com/shop and get your very own Week in Geek Radio Show t-shirt. $15 up to XL, $17 for 2X and 3X. That's twigradio.com/shop. MobiCon is coming this Memorial Day weekend, May 26th through the 28th at the Mobile Riverview Plaza Hotel. To get your tickets now, go to mobilecomiccon.org. That's mobilecomiccon.org. MobiCon, May 26th through the 28th.
Now, back to the Week in Geek on News Talk 99.5 WRNO with David D. Squared and Brian Held. Tell your friends, tell your enemies. Yeah, you'll definitely want to tell your enemies.
Welcome back, New Orleans. You're listening to The Week in Geek on News Talk 99.5 WRNO. This is Brian Held with
D Squared. All right, man. Get it together in there.
I'm good.
You are.
Dave, how can folks find us if they want more out of the show?
Well, it's funny you should ask that, Brian. Now, as always, we strongly urge you to check out the Facebook page. It's facebook.com/The Week in Geek. Check out our website at Twig Radio. You can follow us on Twitter at Twig Radio, and the Instagram's The Week in Geek. Now, Brian, how can people listen to this lovely show?
Well, of course, once we're off the air, we're going to host this on Spreaker.com, or you can download Spreaker for your smartphone or tablet. You can also find us on iTunes, YouTube, the iHeartRadio app, and at WRNO.com.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I love the iHeartRadio app, dude. I mean, you can listen to all our old shows, too. I mean, you know, with Spreaker and WRNO, all of our old podcasts are there as well.
And we've got plenty of shows out there. Dave, do you know that in a mere 3 weeks, we'll be 4 years on the air?
I'm 4 years old.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, Dave.
That's great. I mean, I haven't talked to Brandon, at CoastCon, but I mean, he was on the very first show. I mean, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
All right. This Week in Geek History?
Yes.
This Week in Geek History.
We're sending you back to the future!
Yes! Oh my God!
This Week in Geek History is brought to you by Jezebel Johnston, Devil's Handmaid by Nancy Hansen, read by Brian Held. Available on Amazon, Audible, and iTunes. This Week in Geek History.
Yes! Oh my gosh!
Da-na-na, da-na-na.
All right, actually, this first one out of the gate is really good because we just talked to Brendan on April 10th, 1997. Wizards of the Coast announced the purchase of TSR, the at the time cash-strapped makers of Dungeons and Dragons.
You know, I still have concerns about that.
Yeah?
You know, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm glad they bought it. I mean, you know, Wizards of the Coast has done, pretty well with it, except for that ill-fated fourth edition thing where it's like, buy our miniatures! No, really, buy our damn miniatures!
Right.
We made rule books for it!
Yeah, it's so weird. It seems D&D is very miniature-driven nowadays.
Yeah, but I mean, they brought back the latest one that is not miniature-driven. Okay. I bought the book, and I have yet to read the entirety of the damn new rule book.
Right.
But actually, my neighbor next door, we're trying to get the kids into some tabletopping, and I gave him an old copy of Savage Worlds, which is kind of like a generic universal role-playing kind of system. So I don't know. We'll see. I mean, but D&D, the books are so expensive. You know, Savage Worlds was $10.
That's true. That's true.
And we had one of the creators on our show a couple weeks ago.
We did, indeed.
Flanagan? No.
Sean Patrick Fannin.
Yes. There we go. All right, what's next?
Next is April 11th, 1970. Apollo 13 is launched, suffering an explosion in its service module oxygen tanks, and the moon landing that they had planned for was aborted. Yeah, no, it was pretty...
You mean in that sound studio in California?
Dave. No.
In Hollywood?
They went out in space, Dave.
You sure?
Yes, they slung around the backside of the moon. It's actually the furthest that man has traveled away from the Earth was this mission because they weren't able to land. They had to use the moon's gravity to be able to sling the module back to Earth.
Okay.
And...
now, which Apollo was it where it's like, Houston, we have a problem, and they actually didn't say that?
You know what? I don't know. I'd have to research that.
God dang it. They made a big movie. Kevin Bacon was in it.
Yeah?
It was Kevin Bacon. Everybody loves Kevin Bacon. You not like Kevin Bacon?
Well, but the Apollo 13 movie had Tom Hanks in it, right?
Was that it?
Yeah.
I don't know.
And I like that one. That was a good movie.
They're going to take away our geek cards, Brian.
They are.
Whoops.
All
What's
right.
next?
It's one you have to guess. It's April 12th, 1985. Directed by Richard Donner, starring Matthew Broderick, Rutger Hauer, and Michelle Pfeiffer, it's what movie?
Rutger Hauer. Oh, my God.
I'll give you a hint.
Is it Blade Runner?
No.
No, that was Harrison Ford.
It's heavily referenced in Ready Player One.
Is it Cherry 2000?
No. That wasn't even referenced at all. It's Lady Hawk.
Lady Hawk.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no.
I forgot Matthew Broderick was in that. You know, yeah, he was a whiny little punk.
Yeah,
Who was Dragon Slayer? The dude with the curly blonde hair.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Who was? Oh, that was a horrible movie too.
Yeah, well, you know.
Well, I mean, it wasn't horrible at the time.
Right. No, it was great at the time.
We were starving for anything that had a dragon in it.
You're right. All right, next on my list is April 13th, 1860. The first Pony Express rider arrives in Sacramento, California, ceremoniously completing the service's inaugural delivery.
How far did he go?
It was 10 days journey from Missouri to California. It was basically all of the mail and stuff was coming from the east to this one point,
right.
And then the Pony Express guy would
She'll be coming around the mountain when she comes.
Oh, they had all these stations set up, and they had multiple riders.
Where he'd grab some water and keep on going?
Well, they could get a fresh horse, but it was like $5 to mail something that was like a quarter ounce, like a letter, and that equivalent in today's money was like $137.
That's $1 bill you're looking at, son. Take off your damn hat. It's $1 bill.
So yeah, it was a very short-lived service, just with the high rates, but. It served a need at the time.
Yes.
And it's very iconic.
Yeah, well, it is.
Yes.
What's next?
What's next? You're going to hate this one.
Probably so.
April 14th, 1828.
Jeez, you went way back.
American lexicographer Noah Webster copyrights and publishes the first edition of his dictionary, the American Dictionary of the English Language.
All right, a lexicographer.
Yes,
that's is that like the lexicon, like the words, words and stuff.
Yes,
a wordsmith.
Right. So our first.
So what was his creative name for the first dictionary?
American Dictionary of the English Language.
That dumbass.
That was his first one. Come on.
It was my first book. Come on.
Everybody starts out somewhere, Dave. Come on. Don't hate on the guy.
He's dead. Who cares?
Oh, come on.
What's next?
Here's another first. April 15th, 1924. This is going to date us because all these young kids don't even know what this is anymore.
Oh, God.
Rand McNally publishes the company's first road atlas.
Oh, my God. Jeez. I have that on my phone now, though.
Right.
God, do you remember Triptychs?
No.
Oh my God, that was something like Allstate or State Farm, the insurance people would. If you said, "Hey, I'm going out of town. We're taking a big long journey to Tennessee," they would give you a little triptych, and each page was about maybe 100 miles, and it would show you where there might be construction. It was basically like a Google map, but like they would give you the closest information they had from the latest material. But this was back in the late 70s.
Wow.
So it was ahead of its time.
Yeah.
And now we got a phone. It's like, just text me the damn address. I'll get there whenever I get there.
All right. I remember in the early 2000s printing out Yahoo Maps to get to
where I was going. MapQuest. Wait, does MapQuest still even exist?
Yeah, I think it does.
Why?
Yeah, I don't know. All right.
They still own stock.
All right. Last one on my list is April 16th, 1989. Much to the joy of office workers everywhere, Dilbert the comic strip is first published by Scott Adams.
It is a pretty funny comic strip.
It is. All right, are you ready for some birthdays?
I'm always ready for birthdays.
All right, on the 10th, Star Wars is holding tight with Daisy Ridley. Happy birthday.
Wow, how old is she?
I don't know. I don't have the...
Well, damn it, I need to know. She's legal, though, right?
92.
Okay.
Right? Do the math. On
Not
the
my
11th, Trisha Helfer from Battlestar Galactica, the Cylon, number 6.
Cylon number 6?
Oh, yeah, it's number 6. Yeah, that was her name.
Oh, okay. I knew it was like an extra, Citizen number 12.
Right.
And they just grabbing random people off the internet. Mm-hmm. John Smith's birthday is today. Happy birthday, John.
Yeah, on the 12th, J. Scott Campbell. He's a comic book artist. He was for Wildstorm Comics, Marvel Comics, the video game industry. He's really good. He did a lot of Gen 13 stuff. And
cool.
Yeah. On the 13th, Ron Perlman.
Oh, man, that dude, if you've got an ugly character and you need him, really weird looking, Ron's your guy.
Oh, yeah?
It's so funny. He even jokes about that because, it's like, hey, we need a really demonic looking guy with scars over his face. He's like, that's me. That's Ron. Ron Perlman. I'm your guy.
Oh, yeah. On the 14th, Sarah Michelle Gellar. right?
Oh, yeah, Buffy.
Buffy.
Yeah, Buffy.
And on the 15th, Emma Watson, Hermione Granger. Yeah. And on
stop. We can't discuss her. She would probably come in here and kick our ass.
Yes. Well, she'd kick yours. She probably like me.
Yeah, whatever.
on
next?
On the 16th, John Cryer. He played Ducky in Pretty in Pink.
I know John Cryer.
Yeah. All right,
man. So look, all right, let's wrap up the show and talk about what we got coming up next week. Who's our guest next week?
Claudia Gray, author.
She's an author, yeah. Star Wars stuff, right?
Yeah, she did Star Wars Bloodlines, and her new book is out called Defy the Stars, and that's what we're going to be talking about. I'm partially of the way through it. I'm going to have it finished up by next week.
Better read faster.
Oh, yeah, no, I read pretty fast, so we're good.
All right. Anything else?
We've got events coming up.
Yeah, I mean, like MobiCon is one of our newest sponsors, you know, and they're coming up Memorial Day weekend. But sooner than that is Southern Geek Fest.
Southern Geek Fest is going to be the next event that we're going to be at, and yeah, guys, it's going to be a great time. So come out and put it on your calendar and come out and see us.
Absolutely, guys. All right, so always, check us out on Facebook, The Week in Geek. Follow us on Twitter at Twig Radio. And Brian, where can they find our podcast again?
Spreaker.com, iTunes, YouTube, iHeartRadio app, and at WRNO.com.
All right, guys. Till next time, keep your nerd flag raised high.
GFL.
Something strange in your neighborhood. Who you gonna call? Ghostbusters! If it's something weird and it don't look good, who you gonna call? Ghostbusters!
Your new home for Walton and Johnson. News Talk 99.5 WRNO FM, New Orleans, an iHeart radio station.